You need to consider that some of the people around you are gonna fail out. Some people are gonna be working at private firms, private practice, and some are gonna go into general counsel roles. And you need to think about who you're sitting next to and around, and maybe pick the brighter people, maybe pick the more ambitious people that you can see a future where they're gonna be successful and maintain those relationships.
Welcome to our Happy Rainmakers video series where point one can make a difference. I'm joined today by Steve Fretzin, founder of Be That Lawyer with Fretzin. Thanks so much for joining us today, Steve.
Thanks, Jennifer. I appreciate you having me.
I know that a lot of people are hoping to see all of the clips that we made with you because you are an expert at making lawyers into rainmakers.
It's kind of my jam. Enjoy it. And there's nothing more rewarding in my life than helping others to be their best selves and get the most out of their law practice and their career. So it's really exciting stuff.
What are some things that somebody who is not yet that experienced and might not, have that gravitas maybe to talk to the CEO of Microsoft yet, what can they start with?
The answer is, look, if you understand as a junior lawyer that business development and rainmaking is a critical element to your career, with everything going on in the world right now, I think you'd be remiss not to consider or take action on doing something to develop your own clients, because the economy and the political scene is so challenging right now. I would say become a student of the game of the business of law, or in particular, marketing, branding, and business development. So it's not that you need to run out and hire a coach. And although if you do, we're open for business, but there are books, there are videos, there are podcasts and mentors that you could take, that you could work with to start getting the lay of the land about what does it mean to start to become a rainmaker, to develop your own relationships and start getting things warmed up. I think that's a great place to start if you're a junior, and there's a lot more to go from there. But I think if you don't have the right attitude about it, and you don't start thinking about becoming like, hey, I need to start learning what this is all about, I think that's probably a misstep.
So one of the things that we are always talking to everybody about is that this is investment time, and you have to make time in your calendar, even when you're trying to, be the number one hours biller in your department or whatever. Do you have any advice for that, especially for the more junior people who obviously aren't bringing in millions of dollars of business yet? So they may not be able to show the ROI for those hours quite yet. How can they explain it to their firm?
If you can write up a plan that's focused on where low-hanging fruit might be, existing relationships, past and existing clients, cross-marketing, bringing more business in for your partners and getting some credit on that. Even if you don't get credit on it, your firm will observe that, hey, this has been fruitful. You've actually brought in a good amount of business. And that's going to pay off dividends when it comes time to have that partnership conversation.
And you're the rainmaking expert. So I'll tell you that sometimes when people ask me for some advice when they're still a little bit junior, I tell them to choose some things they like doing anyway. So at least they get the benefit of enjoying it and seeming authentic and having something to talk about with the others, and keeping in touch with the people they went to college and law school with, who they like, because sometimes those people could be a source of referrals, whether they stay in private practice or not.
You have to really consider how you're building out your network, even as an undergrad, a law school student, or when you're in your first 5 years of private practice. You need to consider that some of the people around you are gonna fail out. Some people are gonna be working at private firms, private practice, and some are gonna go into general counsel roles. And you need to think about who you're sitting next to and around, and maybe pick the brighter people, maybe pick the more ambitious people that you can see a future where they're going to be successful and maintain those relationships. There's only two things as a lawyer that you have that provide some level of security for your future. Number one is your education in law and your ability to become a great lawyer. Nobody can take that away from you. The other are your relationships and your clients. If something goes bad, your firm gets bought, your firm is starting the culture shifting, the economy turns, all the people feeding you work are not feeding you work anymore, but you have your relationships and you have your clients to take with you, or to make sure that you sustain through anything that may come your way or in the way of the world. That's really your only security. So that's why Jennifer and I are, right, you and I are always talking about building that book of business. And unfortunately, I still feel like it's maybe 10% are really getting it and understanding it and investing in themselves. And 90% are just like, how do I bill hours and get home to see my kids, which I get, but you're missing the second part of that equation, which is, the security of having for your family to have your own clients.
For anybody that's listening, what's one thing that they can do in the 5 minutes after they turn off this video? Maybe think of somebody they know, or schedule something on their calendar. What would you recommend?
Sit down and write out a list of your clients, a list of your friends, a list of family, a list of people that you still have a relationship with from college, and go through your LinkedIn and write down a list of 10, 20, 50 people and start getting lunches and start getting coffees and drinks and building back those social relationships that maybe you let lapse. And if you're concerned that you haven't talked to someone in a while, you can say, hey, you popped up on LinkedIn. I know it's been 5 years, but geez, it sure would be great to catch up. Find out what they're up to. Let them know what you're up to. And you never know. I mean, A, you're building out your network and investing time in people. And B, you never know. They might say, it's funny that you mentioned that you work in employment. I have a company that has all kinds of employment problems and our current firm sucks. Can we talk? And now all of a sudden you've got this business that's coming in you didn't even ask for, that just because now they know what you do and they didn't before. So simple thing like just creating a list of names and acting on it, sending out emails could be the difference between, a terrible year from a business development standpoint or a decent year.
That's great advice, because that's something attainable for everybody who's watching this video. Everyone's got 5 minutes to get started. So thank you so much for being with us today.
Yeah. Thank you, Jennifer.